Hey everyone, my name's Kenneth, and I'm gonna be the host for what I'm calling the Muditadriven Podcast. There isn't really a big point to all this, and to be perfectly honest, like I don't exactly want to be like I don't know, super rich, famous, well known across the world or whatever the heck. I just want to share with everyone why I find humankind like so fascinating, so interesting, and so awesome. Like there's so many things about y'all that I see in my day-to-day life when it comes to driving that just keep me interested no matter what. I've met people from all walks of life really, all across like the human spectrum of experiences, from the youngest to the oldest to whatever political views they have, whatever gender they have, sexuality they have, hobbies they have. It's always so much fun to interact with all of you. But now I thought, why not record all this? Like, why not talk with some of the people that matter the most to me, or people that I find along the way that want to join me for this? So, the three ways that I'm thinking about going, it's I could talk with my friends or people about their hobbies, their likes, and why they're super into them. The second thing is like stuff that they've gone through that's like changed them for the better. Or the third one is honestly just kind of free forming it because I never have any big plans when I go to work. I mean, if you all want to know, my hidden agenda is to make people laugh and smile and change their lives positively, because I'm that much of a terrible person. But on that note, I'm gonna introduce my good buddy Dan now, or as some of you might know him as Roxas. It's just I love the way that he thinks. Like his mind is honestly like so enjoyable, and one of the things that I've seen about him is he's not very black and white about things. He's kind of all across the board, and I really enjoy that part about people because I don't like people that are like extreme in their views. But him, yeah, he good. But yeah, I think one of the things I'd like to start off with is talking about one of the things that I've known him for, which is his music and the way that he plays it. So here's to you, bud.
Thanks, Ken. I'm glad I could actually be a part of this. I like the idea that you have going there, and I'm not that great at interviews. I've never really done much of them before, but I enjoy getting the chance to start this journey with you. So I appreciate you giving me a platform to talk with somebody like you about a lot of the views that you enjoy in conversation.
So one of the things I immediately like wanna jump into right now is the type of music that you play like here in the Bay Area, like why you enjoy it so much, what were like some of your favorite shows that you've played for, and just what got you started on this musical journey as well. Because no one really just wakes up and go, I want to be a DJ because that's a cool thing. It's totally easy, right? Like, no, there's no way that is easy or any other like a profession that we have. Because it's that weird thing of like people think about all the glitz and the glamour of things, but it's like you do realize how hard this can be, right? Kind of like when you have that one promoter who's like, yeah, no, you should totally come play for us. Bring your $2,000 set and we'll give you maybe $60 for a set. You're like, really? You can't just have something for me? No, I'm sorry, that's not in our budget. Like, it's okay to be salty at those people because like y'all are making this a lot harder for us when you could totally just help us out. I've talked with a good amount of these people in my car, and I'm just like, I know this pain, even though I'm not in the same position as y'all. I just get y'all a lot too. Or the other one, it's having extra flash drives. I've heard that's a big thing. Because like some of the people that I've met that are DJs, they always have a flash drive on their keychain, which makes sense. You carry your keys with you everywhere. But then there's one guy who's like, no, I'll just put it in my pocket. Nothing could possibly fall out. Then they sit down, it falls out. They get to their set, they're like, oh, I have no music.
Corrupted.
Oh God,
You get
no,
up,
that's
you
another
plug it
fun one.
in the CDJ, and nothing comes on. Yeah, I've been pretty fortunate in my experiences. The places that I've played at have always provided equipment, and our underground scene here in the East Bay area is run by a lot of really good people, and they put forth their effort to make sure that whenever people come play for them, that is enjoyable of an experience for the DJs as it is for the people attending the event. And but like you were asking, going way back, what got me all into it? Back in high school, I didn't have much exposure music wise. I was kind of like writing my own board as far as music goes, and I was a very angry person for a while, and I think my music taste reflected that a lot. Um, and while I was looking for music that might expand my, what's the word? If I was looking for a different kind of music, something that might not fuel my anger but rather calm me down, I listened to a lot of smooth jazz and I listened to a lot of house music. And through my journey with house music, back in about 2010, got into dubstep through a lot of the big names at the time. Like, honestly, I'm not going to lie, Skrillex was the first introduction to dubstep. I can't really even lie about that, but
Was it the Bangarangs?
yeah, Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. Yeah.
That was such a good one, though.
Yeah, I mean, hate on it all you want, but it was a good classic.
We're gonna beat these nerds in.
So, like, I kind of danced around house music and dubstep earlier on, and I never really had the inclination to, like, search outside of those genres, so I was kind of dancing around what really interested me. And after high school, I hung out with a lot of people who mostly listened to rap music, so for a while, that's basically all I listened to was rap. And
Any artists in particular?
a lot of 2 Chainz, a lot of YG, a lot of E40, and a lot of Bay Area rap. I like Bay Area rap.
Did you go hyphy or down?
Hyphy movement for sure. Yeah, I got a few vinyl over there actually, a few LPs that I like throwing on every now and again. But
There's one point I do want to go back to real quick.
Sure.
So one of the things that like struck me right away that I kind of want to be like, wait, hold on, I need the mic real quick because I want to interject, but that's gonna be fun in itself. But it's you talked about that you were like very like angry like in high school and your music reflected that, but it's like one of the things I understand about music is it amplifies our emotions but also helps us process them. And I feel like because of how into music you are now, you can explain that like maybe on a psychological level, like why that's the case for us.
Sure.
Kind of like why someone would prefer to listen to pop music versus like listening to Slayer or listening to Sum 41 or listening to K-pop. Like I just realized I've talked about maybe metal or pop, but so it's just like why do we gravitate towards certain music? Is it like just because our friends are into it? Is it because like it gives us an emotional rise? Is it just because it's like background noise? I don't know why we listen to the music that we do.
I think one of the main reasons that I can think of is that it gives you a platform you didn't know you had for the emotions that you're feeling. Like, there might not necessarily be a way that you can express how you're feeling, but if you hear it in a song and you hear something that resonates with you, whether it's a lyric or it's just like a melody that just kind of hits home, it helps you express the side of you that you don't know how to. And I think that's why it resonates well with me, because I'm not great with my words. I have a hard time finding the things to say, and I stumble over my words a lot. So whenever I can find ways to express myself where I can play a song for somebody and kind of evoke a certain emotion, or at least try to put forth the emotion that it makes me feel, it makes me feel like I can relate to somebody a little bit closer. Because I put up a lot of walls in my personal life for a various amount of reasons, and I feel like this is the easiest way for me to get through them.
So about walls, actually, like as far as I understand in like your life and my life, there's going to be a lot of stuff that happens to us, and as a result we build these walls to kind of like defend ourselves from like that pain or that suffering or whatever uncomfortable situation happened from happening again. And like sometimes it could be a good thing, but other times it could like really cut us off from like anyone and everyone that we love. Like I know especially for me there was way too many terrible things that happened to me that later I'm just like, this is life, right? This is normal. And then I'm like, oh, that was actually terrible. Damn, I didn't know because I was too hopeful and I saw the best in people. Yay.
Missing red flags to rose-colored lenses.
Yeah. Speaking of, I still need to fix my hard shade thingamabobs. I still can't believe I stepped on them. Oh, I'll just need like super glue or whatever. But it's like I'm trying to think. It's like there are some heavy subjects I could bring in, but I'm like, do I dip into those right away or not? But true. But let's see. Yeah, because it always happens in the weirdest ways now that I think about it. Like God, no, there's too many flashbacks in that. Let's see. Actually, I think I'll just talk about it in a general, vague way, like on purpose. Kind of a way that all of us can relate of when we think something is perfectly normal, that's just the way it is. I thought everyone did that. Or like, you know, this is such a day-to-day thing. But then when we look back at it, we're like, wait, my parents were stealing all the time? And like saying that that's totally fine because screw the government, like that wouldn't make sense. But in our little brains we're like, yeah, because mom and dad said that. I mean, thankfully my parents were never like that, but it's weird. Although there's like something funny that happened to me once. So one time I was like at Target back when I was a little kid, and I saw a little gift card thing for like $5, and I was like, I want that. That'd be nice to have. Yeah, so I just grabbed it, took it. I think the alarm might have even gone. Wait, no. Do they have alarms on the little gift card things, or don't even matter?
No, but it's not going to work unless it's activated.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I took it without really thinking it, because again, I was like, what, 7 years old or whatever. And then I felt this immense guilt of like, oh no, wait, I stole. That wasn't right. I am a bad person. But at the same time, like, I like that little me. Little me knew what's up. But
I think
like,
everybody goes through a little klepto phase.
yeah, true that. I think like, well, speaking of that klepto phase, I have consciously stolen 2 things in my life only, and that was it. One of them, not gonna lie, was to get back at an employer. It was like Walgreens. It was one of those like, y'all let me go over some BS. I'm gonna take some multivitamins. And like, what was the other one? The other one was like one time I like took shades, but that one had a different purpose. It was at I want to say it was like a CVS in Berkeley. I just remember I grabbed the shades. I went over to the front. I actually paid for some other stuff. Yeah. No, I didn't even. Actually, no, I didn't even wear them out. I think I just had them on my person. But like, I just remember the only thoughts that were going through my head is, what do people feel like when they steal? Right. What type of signs do they look for? So I'm like, all right, let's walk ourselves through this. Okay, I'm looking for a lot of cameras. All right, I'm looking for employees nearby. Okay, these glasses are nice. Maybe I could just put in my pocket. No one's gonna notice. I totally missed the fact that there was like those little security things that go off when you try to go out the door. The point is, I was just trying to get into the mind of someone that steals. Because my morals and ethics are like pretty high up there, if you will. I can't ever consciously steal. I think it would bug me for the rest of, God, I don't even know how long. Maybe weeks? When for some people, they're just like, doop. What is it? 5-finger discount or whatever. Like, I've heard of some dumb things. Like, I think it happened at a Walgreens that my brother works at, or worked at rather. He I think there was like super backed up that day, and there was some lady who was like really fed up with it. She had this nail polish, like, you guys are taking too long. I'm just gonna take this, and walked out. I was like, what? Like, who just says I'm just gonna steal from y'all real quick? You can't stop me. Bye. Like, I don't know. It bugs me when people do this. So that's kind of why I was like, what type of mindset do they have going in? Turns out nothing really changed in me. All I had was a deeper understanding of things. But so I don't want to steal. It makes me feel terrible.
I think it depends on the situation a little bit. Like, generally, yeah, I do agree that stealing is wrong and you shouldn't like take something from somebody. But I actually have a Walgreens story as well. Back in high school, when my friends all started exploring their sexuality and having sex with their girlfriends for the first time and stuff. Obviously, we wanted to be safe about it, so we went and stole condoms from Walgreens. We're in high school, we don't have jobs, so we can't afford to get it. So I feel like in that certain case, that's kind of all right, you know? Like, that's for the better. Like, they're gonna miss like maybe $350 or something like that. Yeah.
I, I don't know what to call this alignment. It's this chaotic good of like,
Sure.
I don't want to get my girlfriend pregnant, so I'm gonna steal some condoms. I like it's not a terrible idea in practice, I guess, because like I see it in one of two ways. Like, sure, you may have stolen like I don't know $3.50 or $7 worth of condoms. I forgot how much they
On
cost
several occasions, but yeah.
on several occasions. Okay, but like I'm thinking about that one other thing of why some teenagers make the dumb decision to not use condoms. They're like, no, just pull out method. That works. No, that obviously does not work. But so it's just
That's
like,
why I'm 26 and have no kids.
there you go. But it's like, one of the things that I don't understand that people don't take into consideration, it's like this about 5 or 10 minutes of fun, which could lead to someone getting pregnant, also means that person will be pregnant for about 9 months, which will totally rock their world for a little while. But also, having kids is expensive. Like
yeah.
in this country too, like you have to pay for your kid to be born. So I hope you have like some good old healthcare or medical coverage, because I mean, dear God, this country just charges us way too much for everything. But anyway, it's just the 9 months of being like, well, of your world being rocked, and then like the actual giving birth, which is just like painful as fuck for our like all our, how to put it, our vagina having folks out there. And just having to pay for like, let's see, the diapers. That's one of the most costly things that I know of for parents in the first few years. And then yeah, like the constant like crying, the constant like having to clean them up, like having to wake up at random hours of the night. It's just all these decisions people don't think about, because they're like, this person's very attractive. I want to do the eternal dance with them real quick. And I'm like, nah, son, just wait, hold on. What's that one silly phrase of don't be silly, wrap your willy. Like, I just love that one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah, I think there needs to be more paternity leave in this country, because we don't have enough time. For the people who do have kids, there's not enough time with them in the first year to actually like make the connections that you could. Like, there's a lot of other countries that both the mother and the father, or both mothers and both fathers, get a whole year of paternity leave for that initial bonding time with the child, and I think that's an important thing. Yeah, and I think it might be Sweden or something. Double check that. But I think it would benefit society a lot to have more of a connection with the children, instead of like being thrown straight back into the rat race and having to go back to work, worry about somebody else raising your child in the meantime, like having a nanny that's there 40 hours a week. Feel like you're missing out on a decent amount of bonding time with your child, you know? And I'm not really interested in having children myself, but I feel like for the people who do make that decision, they should have more time in order to properly raise. That's a terrible way to put it, but
Gotcha. So yeah, while Roxas was talking, I was looking up maternity leave around the world, and the good old US of A is not doing too well as far as how many weeks you get off. And
Sweden, you get 480 days off.
the countries with the most maternity leave, number one is Sweden. You get 480 days, and 80% of your wages are paid up to 390 days. So like that's an entire first year that you can have with your child, making most of your paycheck. So I don't know, that just like yeah, that seems like a pretty efficient way to do things, and like I'd be interested in seeing the statistics of how influential they have, how influential their family life might be for younger kids there.
Right. I was looking at America not too long after wait, hold on, what was the first one again? It was what was it? Sweden? Right? Okay, yeah. Oh wait, no. Wait, no, it wasn't Sweden. It was. Oh wait, yeah, no, it is Sweden. That's like really awesome. I'm looking at America, and it's just a random article I pulled up. It's saying under the Family Law and Medical Leave Act, women can receive up to 12 weeks of paternal leave. However, FMLA does not mandate that they be paid during their leave. So that's just maternity leave.
Whack.
yeah, it's whack. But like, there's no like I can only imagine how much worse it is for like fathers as well. It's like regardless of which society I talk to, they almost always like include maternity leave, even if it's not too much. When it comes to like our guys out there, our men, I'm just like y'all get so little in comparison too. Like none of it's ever really a fair system because
I think that's uh, that ingrown mindset of the guy should be at work and making the money and stuff like that instead of the equality. Um,
I mean, that's like one of the things that I've also discovered about, well, talking to people from around the world. It's like to kind of make a side note for myself. One of the main reasons why I do live, it's to kind of just experience people from all parts of the world, whether it be here in the Bay, across the U.S., or literally from like other countries. But it's so interesting to see all their perspectives, all their narratives, or how they believe life should be based on like where they were raised. Kind of like, let's see. Like I'm thinking about Japan right now. It's very binary as far as like their gender goes. Like a lot of folks are like just men or just women. As far as I know, they're not too kind about the rainbow folks in general. Hopefully I'm wrong about that. But when it comes to gender roles, like who should be working, who should be staying at home, they are pretty strict about that actually. It's this weird phenomena that well from right they have a lot of businessmen or what they call businessmen. It's very common for them to work like I think it was like 50 to 60 hour work weeks and like barely have any time to spend time with like their family or on hobbies and stuff. It's actually kind of frowned upon to have like time off. Like they had to keep constantly working, pushing their kids to go through like school, kind of do the same thing, and the moms have to stay at home and take care of all the domestic stuff. But like that's their way of being. That's what they believe is right. Meanwhile, here in the Bay, we're very different about that. Like we're not always very how to put it. Actually, yeah, there you go. We're not very traditional over here. We're kind of all over the place, really. Like just thinking about all the friends that we have in the house that I'm staying at right now too. Everyone's doing something really different, but I just like love and accept them all regardless of like what they do for work. And like I've met people who are like, because you're not a doctor, because you're not a lawyer, you're a failure. I'm just like, holy crap, dude! Like those are some high standards to adhere to. But it's just like the main thing that I push for like my buddy Roxas or anyone else, is for them to do anything that feels really enjoyable or is very fulfilling or allows them to kind of make work into like play for them, because that's like one of the ideals for me. Kind of like when I'm working, I'm not thinking about like, oh, I need to work. I'm just like, how can I make these nerds laugh? Like how can I like bring some joy to this little dude, or how can I mess with this person? Like I think I told you the other day too how I literally just sometimes open the door with a different voice or no. Like let's see. Oh wait, they don't know about that yet. But like I'll be opening the door to someone, and instead of using my regular voice, which is this one right now as far as I know, it changes throughout the day. But I could just go like, well, hello there, young man. Come on in. Now, you weren't up to any nefarious things now, were you? Because I don't want any ruffians in my car. No, sir. I just want some good-hearted people to come with me on this journey we call life. And, like, it messes with them so much. Because they're thinking, like, wait, this dude is, like, only in his late 20s. Why is he 85? But it's like it's so fun to start off that way sometimes with people, because it takes them out of that serious adulting mode and just makes them go, oh wait, I could just have fun and be myself around this person. Okay.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to do rideshare myself about a year ago, and that was one of the things that I enjoyed about it a lot, was being able to talk to people from all walks of life, from like the poor college kids all the way up to like the salarymen in San Francisco, you know, people in the rat race. And it's crazy because like for the people who do want to talk to the driver, it's always a really human connection. Like you get to relate to everybody on a very surface level, but it works its way down deep because you realize that no matter what your guys' backgrounds are, you're sharing this car ride, you're sharing this 15 to 20 minutes with each other, so you might as well get to learn a little bit about each other. And it's nice when you meet the people where it's an unspoken connection. You know, I'm probably never going to see you again, but I really had an enjoyable time talking to you for these 15, 20 minutes. And yeah, that was just one thing that I really liked about ride sharing.
I'm glad that you bring that up, actually. It's just like, hi there, new friend. We're going to know each other for about 15 minutes and we'll never see each other again.
Yeah.
But, like, I kind of love that. And I used to kind of hate it, but not so much anymore. But, like, what made me hate it was, like, when you met someone who was, like, wonderful, amazing, or just, like, I can't believe someone like this exists. And you're like, well, I got to drop you off to never see you again. Because, like, one of the things I've noticed, like, in this line of work too, it's being like a male-bodied individual and being like a driver. There's certain like ideas that people will have of you because they'll hear like stuff in the news of like an Uber driver assaulted a lady or someone tried to kidnap this person, or XYZ. So there's always gonna be the thought of like, is this guy gonna do something to me or not? So that's why I would never. Well, another thing I'm really good about not doing too, it's never hit on your passengers. It's just never really a good idea. Like, from what I've understood about, like...
If you're at work, you're at work.
Yeah, like, if you're at work, you're at work. You're right about that. But it's just, it's weird for me how I get, like some female-bodied folks who... Oh, I should also talk about that, too. The reason why I make that distinction as far as, like, people's sex goes, it's, like... There's going to be this perception of what their gender is based on it. But for me, I'm just like, no, it looks like they have a male body, but their gender is different. Most of the time, I don't even assume anyone's gender. So I'm just kind of giving them like a mental image of there was a male or a female with me. That's kind of it. But like, there's funny things that I do too. Like, let's see. There's two different phrases that I use now two different phrases and one word that I used to include everyone. Because before I used to go like you guys or you gals, you ladies, boys, etc. But now I go like ladies, gentlemen, and gentle them. And, like, it just includes everyone now. And I see like a little kind of like a queer person or non-binary person in the back that smiles, and I'm like, yeah, you valid now. Let's see. So there's that one. What else is there? Funnily enough, saying that southern word y'all, because it's saying like you all, it's just like shorthand. It's like, yep, all y'all are included.
I find myself catching on to that. Catching on to the y'all thing in the past couple of years too, and I don't really know why it came about in the first place, but it's efficient.
Like, honestly, really is though. But like, oh, actually, I forgot where I was going with all this. Let's see.
Rideshare connection with people.
Oh wait, right. The rideshare connections with people and whatnot. It's Oh wait, right. I was talking about not hitting on your passengers too. It's just not a good idea. If they do it first, totally okay. Then you get to do it back and forth. But like most of the time from like my female bodied folks, or I'll just say women, they're like, you know, it's a pretty uncomfortable experience. Like, we're just getting off of school. We're getting off of
Uber ride. You're not here to get hit on. Like this, you're paying for a ride. That's what you should get. You know,
yeah.
Like I hate hearing all the stories about the Uber drivers like abducting people or assaulting people, even though they're kind of few and far in between. It seems like every now and again that spikes up a little bit, and I think it just makes for kind of an uncomfortable initial interaction with people. Like I also tried to like make sure that all of my greetings to my passengers were really like warm and open and gentle and stuff. I just wanted to make sure that people knew going into this that like, you're going to get a ride and I'm just going to be your nice driver. Please don't worry. I'm not going to kidnap you, you know?
Wait, hold up. Are you telling me you don't open the door like, what's up, motherfucker? We're going to have the worst ride ever. That'd be so hilarious if you and I actually did that and people were like, yeah, this is what I'm about. But more
your last Uber ride.
Yep. Oh, dude, I've actually been doing that to people like, well, not that lately, but being like, hey, welcome to the worst ride of your life. But like with a happy tone, so they're like, what? Okay, this person's gonna mess with me. True that. But like for the most part, it's gone like really well for me. Because once I get rid of that confused look by like following it up on something funny, they're like, oh, okay, he's messing with me. Like, I I think I did this with you the other day, of introducing people to aggressive compliment battles. Have I told you about that game or no?
I mean, I've kind of noticed it, but you haven't told me about it.
No. All right. So one of the games that I like to play with people is called an aggressive compliment battle. It's something I just came up with like 3 or 4 weeks ago, literally just to mess with people, but to have a good time too. So there are 3 rules to this game. Number 1, you have to sound very aggressive, angry, or frustrated. Number 2, you can only say wholesome things. And number 3, it's I asked for at least 3 things, but you have to say at least one thing. So, like, for example, if I were to go to a one-sided battle with my friend Roxas here real quick, I'd be like, yo, your hair is immaculate. Also, that shirt of yours, bam, does it have some great color to it. But you know what's the worst part about you, Roxas?
What's that?
You're a very caring individual who actually looks after his roommates.
Oh,
how dare you? How dare you? What? You trying to fight me? You trying to fight me? Now, I will give you this mic right now. Or you could just take all this wholesome. Yeah, sit there and enjoy that. Yep, I just gave him a beat down. So now y'all know how to fight. Just be angry and say nice things. It's like one of the, I think it's like a pseudo psychological thing that I'm trying to do to people too by inviting them to that game, is to kind of like rewire their heads to be ready for a confrontation. Because like usually when we hear an angry voice or frustrated voice, we have that fight or flight type of thing go off in our minds of like, oh my god, is something going to go terribly wrong? Like, oh, this is sending me to a scary place. But instead you're like, wait, you're playing with me? Okay. Like, hopefully I'm actually like reversing that in people's heads so that they're not going to be scared about future confrontations. They'll approach it more like a game or something silly, trivial, etc.
You might
But
throw
that,
somebody off initially.
oh yeah, no, it usually does throw them off. But then like after 2 seconds, they're like, all right, game on. But it's just, it's funny to see people like have that initial like scare and then fully go into playing with me. Like, that happened with me with a guy the other day. I was like, I'm going to give you the worst ride of your life. He was like, oh my God. And then he realizes I'm messing with him. Turns out he was on the way to an improv show. So it's a kind of funny coincidence. So him and I got like right into it, roasted each other in the nicest way possible, and just laughed the rest of the ride away. It's so much fun to make people go, well, it's going back to a point, go from serious adult mode to kid mode. As that's a weird thing I notice about people too. Like, you need to act more serious. You need to be more of an adult. You need to be mature. It's like, what does that actually mean though? 'Cause most of the time those adults sound boring to me. But at the same time, it's like, I don't even want to put them down. I'm just like, why are you telling me this? Because it's not about you and I either. It's that person projecting onto us. Like, my parents told me I need to be like this. My teachers told me I need to be like this. My XYZ influence told me I need to be like this. And it's like, why are you so attached to that rule, that story, that mindset? Like, I know the people that have opted out of it, because I also give them the ability to say no, which is just another important thing too. Consent culture. I think you've heard the mantra for it before, yeah? Like the 4 lines, or no? All right. So for those that don't know, the mantra, it's yes means yes, no means no. The absence of a no does not mean yes, and also consent can always be taken back. There's usually 2 different stories I like to tell for people if they don't understand it initially. One for my guys, one for my gals. But like, actually, have you heard those stories before too? The boxing one or the tea one?
I'm not sure, but I'll listen.
Alright, let's see. Which one do you want? The boxing one, the tea one, or just tell them both?
I like tea. Tell them
Okay, we'll start off with the tea one then. So going along with the first line, your friend is, well, the friend that you're visiting is like, hey, would you like some tea? And you're like, yeah, I love tea. And there you go. Tea has been had. Or you could be like, dang it. Or your friend could offer you some tea and you're like, nah, son, I'm good. And your friend will be like, all right, cool. Dang it. But anyway, so that's the first one of yes means yes, no means no. And your friend could then be like, hey, would you like some tea? You're not really saying anything because you're trying to be too polite or you don't want to be rude, so they serve you some anyway. So you're like, well, I got tea already. I already needed to go to the bathroom, and there's someone in the bathroom. What do? I can't just say no. But that's God, yeah, no, it just sucks when people are put in those positions. But like the last one of consent can always be taken back. It's you could tell your friend like, hell yeah, I love some tea, and then you could be like, actually, wait, dang, I gotta go somewhere in like 5 minutes. You could be like, hey bud, actually about that tea, I'm gonna have to pass for now. I'm sorry. Like they could have made the tea already, which could make you feel more guilty as well. But it's just like you don't have to
Setting
drink the
boundaries
tea.
for yourself.
Yeah, setting boundaries is a really great idea, actually.
We were talking before this conversation a little bit about setting personal boundaries. What have been some tools that you've been using to make sure that your personal boundaries are known when you're in an uncomfortable situation?
Right. So one of the ways that it came out for me, it's so Roxas earlier, like he was just pushing the space bar on my laptop, and I thought it was like a little bit too hard, but honestly, it wasn't even that hard because these things were meant to take a punch anyway. But what was weird for me is that thought in the back of my head of like, why am I worried to put boundaries there? Why am I worried about like, hey, can you please be more gentle? Am I like scared about some reaction that I'm not ready for? Is it like some memories in my head that are being triggered from my childhood days? Am I worried about acceptance? Like, I don't know. Like, as I'm saying this, I'm still trying to process that moment.
Well, and I think it's a good idea to like highlight the fact that you did end up speaking up and saying something about it, because like I'm just naturally an aggressive typer. I enjoy mechanical keyboards a lot, and I like my clicky clacks, so I need to be a little more conscious about other people's equipment. But like you said, asserting those boundaries, even though it's something as simple as a keyboard, is still important because it's whatever makes you comfortable.
Yeah, because that's like another thing I've been trying to figure out in my own life too as of lately. Well, like some things that are good to feel comfort about, but how other times it's a better idea to go through an uncomfortable situation as well. It's like we never really know what's going to be on the other side, and if we stay in our comfort or our bubbles, really, we're just not going to know. Period. Like I think one of the most easiest and relatable ones for all of us, it's oh my god, there's an attractive human being over there. You know what? They probably don't want to talk to me. They have a significant other already, or like, you know what? I'm not that cool, or I don't want to bug them. It's like we never really know what's gonna happen, and a lot of us are scared about rejection too. No matter how attractive you are, no matter what social class you belong to, no matter what your education is, rejection can always still happen. Like it's not like oh, these people, they'll never get rejected because they look like XYZ, but me, no, I only look like ABC. Who's going to want that? But now it's just like, nope, you go up to this cute human being, you're like, yo, your face, I like that shit. And maybe they'll respond wonderfully to it, or they'll just be like, that was weird, dude. I'm going to go now. But both of them are still okay. The second one, you might still think about for a while. You're like, why did I do that?
One thing that I've been kind of following lately that I find makes people a lot more comfortable is whenever I want to give somebody a compliment, I usually compliment them on something that they've done to themselves. Like if they have dyed their hair, or they're wearing like a certain shirt or anything like that, because it's an effort that they put into themselves to express themselves, rather than commenting on like a physical feature that they have that they may or may not be self-conscious about. That way it's not like possibly making them uncomfortable in a certain way, rather than appreciating some effort that they put into themselves that they want to project out into the world.
Nice. So as you were saying that, you reminded me about two things I've heard before, like specifically when it comes to women. I've heard one of the better ways that you could compliment them is to not like say anything about like their body, just to say something that distinguishes them. Because like, yeah, because like one of the examples I've heard for this before, it's like, oh, thanks for complimenting my beautiful hair. I got that from my mom and dad. Like I'm literally just born with this. But if you told me like, oh girl, that knot, it's like, yeah, I did that knot. Thanks. Like they totally love that. Or just like, hey, like I love your dress, and they'll be like, it has pockets, and you're just like, wait, what? I want to see these pockets. Like, that's amazing. Ooh, yeah. Actually, yeah. Say that one again. Like that was just a good.
Telling somebody that their wings on their eyes, like using their eyeliner, is symmetrical. Because like, I don't know, I've only done it like 3 or 4 times, but that shit's kind of hard, man. So.
Yeah, that's what's up. Like, not too long ago, I tried that out myself too. Like, just because I wanted to try it out. And I was like, this looks really bomb. Why aren't the guys told they can wear makeup too? Because there's still this weird stigma across most countries that guys shouldn't wear makeup, or it's like super girly, whatever that even means. And it's just like, you guys, yeah, like what I don't get is like, yo, makeup companies, y'all realize you can make even more money, right? Like this doesn't have to be for women or female bodied folks only. It could be for everyone. And some companies are getting that now, thankfully. Like Red Sephora was doing that. Like they've included not only women but like trans women. I think they open up like a small guy section as well. I'm like, go y'all. This is actually pretty nice. You're still hella overpriced, but that's a different story. Oh, no worries. But yeah, it's just like, so for me, one of the notes I like to make about myself, it's I am a rainbow friend. I have coined that phrase recently. It's anyone that falls under the rainbow flag, to be honest. It's basically anyone that isn't straight. Yeah, like that's pretty much a rainbow person, right? It's
Somebody who's not at least an ally.
actually, wait, that's a good way of putting it too. Dang. That's actually, wait, no, this is a good thing too, of like me putting out like what my belief system is, and like Roxas adding something in of like, this is what I think. I'm like, huh, that idea just became better thanks to their input. Like, I just love how that works, because it's not even like, how dare you say this thing. It's just like, hey, I see you going with that, but what about this? And I'm like, you right. Yeah, but it's just that's one of the other things I love about character building. I like that. Let's see. Where's I going with this? All right, so for me, it turns out I'm not as straight as I thought I was. Turns out I'm like not just a man, because like if you look at me, like, well, physically, for the most part, I like Asian for some reason. At least everyone I've met in my life usually thinks that right away. But like as far as like ethnicity goes, I'm Mexican on like both sides. And when I tell people that, especially my own people, they're like, "Wait, tú?" I'm like, "Yeah." "De veras?" I'm like, "Yeah." "En serio?" I'm like, "Yeah, why would I lie to you?" And they like usually say some phrase like, "Oh, pensaba que eras chinito," which is not the best thing to say. It's translated to English. It means like, "Oh, I thought you were like Chinese." I'm like, nah, I don't know. It's a Latin America thing where they say chinito because like there was a big surge of like Chinese folks that came in, but I was like, it's not a good idea to say chinito, and especially when they do the eye thing, where you put your eyes to the corner of your eyelids, lift them up to like have more almond-like eyes. I'm like, that's just not a good idea.
That's called racist.
Yeah, that is racist, ain't it? But yeah, a lot of people thought of Asian the majority of my life. I have a male body, but when it comes to like the things I identify myself as nowadays, like thanks to my rainbow friends too, it was let's see, what was it? So now I identify as like hetero flexible, because that's like what I understand about where my sexuality is going. I mainly found out about that because of a partner that I had last year. So I'm not gonna say their name for privacy reasons, but they were, well, I thought that they were a woman at first. I met them at a club. They they introduced themselves in the most adorable way ever, and I just like still love that moment. But I would later find out that they are not a woman. They are actually non-binary and femme-presenting, and I didn't really understand what that meant. But I'm like, you know what? I still love this nerd, so I'm gonna just roll with it. Like, I don't know where this is gonna go. But like because they're non-binary, I can't really call myself straight anymore. So that's why they suggested or told me that I'm actually hetero-flexible, which means I'm like not just attracted to women. I'm also attracted to like non-binary folks or femme-presenting folks. Yeah, and like there's still that small attraction that I have like towards like guys or males as well. But that's an area of my life I haven't really explored too much, because there's still a good amount of like internalized homophobia as far as I know inside of me. Like thankfully I've been able to deal with it for the most part, but it's that way of like, oh, I hope no one thinks that I'm gay. Like, oh, people are gonna look down on me for this, and I'm like, wait, why did I care about that in the first place? But then I think about like, oh, it's family teaching you you're not supposed to be homosexual. It's society saying this is a sin. Or wait, no, not society, religion. Or society saying like, that's not the right thing to do. Like, you're supposed to be with a woman. It's just like, nah, fam, I could just like who I like. Because I know in high school, there were some dudes that I liked. Like, I'd blush up over them, and I'm just like, I don't know why I'm feeling this. I'm just going to bury this because I don't know what to do with it. Like, that's just what I thought was normal. But anyway, years later, now at the stage that I'm at the age of 27, I'm like, it was okay to like them. Like, maybe I didn't want to, like, make out with them or, like, do with them. Like, to the same level I'd want to do it with, like, women or, like, femme-presenting folks. But I'm like, guys are so attractive. Like, for example, this beautiful person right in front of me. Yeah, what's up, good looking? But it's just, I'm also glad that I'm at the level where I can, like, openly tell my friends, like, yo, you're attractive, you're handsome, you look wonderful. As opposed to, like, the people I grew up around who were like, oh, that's gay. Or just like, oh, but no homo, bro. And it's just like, why do they feel the need to say this?
Right.
And it sucks looking back on it because I'm like, you could have just gassed up your friends. You could have hyped them up. You could have been like, hey, bro, you look beautiful. And they could have been like, yeah, you right. Thank you. And it'd be cool. Yeah. Okay, well then.
Yeah, and
All right, so for some reason, it cut out. I don't know what happened, but I don't even know to what point it recorded. But basically, I was going on about how I've been exploring my sexuality over the years. I'm like rethinking about like interests that I had back in my high school days that I didn't understand, working through like internalized homophobia I've gotten from like either family, religion, society at large. Like, it's weird processing all this as an adult because you're like, why did I care about what any of you had to say about who I was into? Like, the heck? But then I realized there's a lot of acceptance, or the need for acceptance in there. There's the hope that I just, like, I am quote unquote normal, so no one's going to treat me differently. And it sucks navigating through that nowadays because I'm like, well, I'll get into it in a bit. But anyway, so for me, being heteroflexible mainly means I like women or like non-binary folks who are femme presenting, or anyone that's just like very feminine, or no, not very feminine, but just feminine. There's slight attraction to guys. And let's see, the second term that I'm using, it's queer, because it's just one of those all-encompassing things as far as I know. Like, I'm still exploring my sexuality and my gender, and this is just the nice umbrella to be like, hey, what up? I'm just queer and trying to live my life. Yeah. Or like the third one, which my friends have told me that I am as well, it's not like a man, but it's like being called gender fluid instead. So the way that goes, it's the majority of my life I've pretty much acted like a dude or behaved like a dude because that's just the way I was socialized or raised to be. And there's some times where I do play that up a lot more because like the testosterone, the level's higher. So I'm like, well, I don't want to feel left out or be treated differently, so I'm gonna do the same. But other times when like the feminine level is like way higher, I'm like, okay, I could be way more fluid about this. My voice can change and everything. My mannerisms change. It all just happens, but I don't really notice anymore, which just feels good too. But like when it comes to our group of friends, especially, no one really trips about like what you are. They just accept you, and it's hard to find that in the quote unquote real world. Like what a lot of them have done as the cis heteronormative monogamous world, I guess. I think that's the general ones our friends use.
traditional bullshit.
Traditional bullshit, yeah. That sounds about right. But it's just like, I think about what myself and my circle of friends, how we're interpreted by society, and shit just sucks. It's like when anyone's like, oh my god, I want to have like a gay best friend. They want this like super effeminate, flamboyant guy to take them shopping, and it's like,
Or the people that fetishize trans folks.
Might say that.
The people that fetishize trans folks and kind of see it as more of a sexual thing rather than them expressing their identity.
it's just it's weird how I guess people are being collected as like, I don't know, people are being seen for what they are as opposed to who they are. Like, you shouldn't like just want the gay best friends you could go shopping because it's like you're damn near using them. You should be like, no, I care about Kevin. He's a pretty cool dude. Happens to be gay and has some good ass like fashion advice, but I know all these other things about him. Yeah, like liking them as a person. It's a great way to be about it. But in just like most societies, it's just like, no, this is for entertainment. This is funny, or this is just like, I don't know. I'm like pretty tired of it all already, even though I didn't know I was part of the community. But anyway, that's kind of getting away from the point. Um, I guess the main point was like me being gender fluid. It's like I can just be like hella masculine at times, hella feminine at times, or just kind of reject both as I feel like it. Like I wouldn't say I'm non-binary either, though. I'm okay with having a male body. I thankfully don't have any dysphoria. For the folks out there that do, keep on fighting, damn you, because you are valid. But it's like, despite the fact that I have a male body, doesn't mean that I don't want to do feminine things because that they're wrong or I shouldn't be doing. Like, no, some feminine things are really fun. Like how Roxas and I were saying, like we've tried, what was it, like eyeliner before?
Just makeup in general.
Oh yeah, just makeup in general. Like
General clothes.
a lot of things that like are geared towards women or like advertised towards women, I'm like they're actually really just fun for anyone. Like makeup doesn't have to be a gendered thing. We can all have fun with it. Like when I tried doing a cat eye, I'm like, dear God, this is hard, but also, damn, you looking good, bro.
I think one of the things that I enjoy about like embracing your feminine side is growing up in, especially in my high school setting, like it's easy to see that all of the women were like closer friends with each other and stuff. Like obviously you had your close male friends, but like the camaraderie between women kind of had that aspect where you're gassing each other up most of the time, and like obviously everyone can be catty, that exists in all genders, but like that's one thing that I learned from like feminine people is being able to embrace your emotions and connect with your friends or any potential partners with your emotions instead of trying to take the toxic masculine approach and just like being a man about it. You know what I'm saying? That's one of those things that once I got out of high school and we actually like started navigating through lives on our own, I'm glad that that's one of those things that have started to take like a backseat and started to disappear from my life. Is all the toxic masculine activity. Because looking back and like seeing the privilege that I grew up in and seeing in the how society was and all of the media that I consumed, all of my family and stuff like that, it was definitely like a very traditional way, and deviating from that tradition was frowned upon. So being able to have an expressive environment now, like how you were talking about in this household, how all of us are accepting of anything really, and like it's good to have that safe area. Like nobody has to worry about that kind of thing here, and it gives us all a way to explore your identity and be able to settle on that for yourselves. And like I'm going to be grateful for that for the rest of my life, that I've had an environment that's going to support me no matter what I identify as, whatever I feel and stuff like that. And it's nice to be able to share that with others too.
Yeah, because well, to kind of go back to one of the gender fluid things I was talking about for myself, because I don't really call myself like a man anymore, and I just more say gender fluid. Some different pronouns came out of me recently too, or for the most part of my life, I've used he and him. Been totally cool with it. Doesn't bother me at all. But now, I also ask folks if they want, they could also call me they them. Like if they don't, I'm not really tripping about it. But it's just like I want that part of my life to be valid as well. Like I don't want to force people to say it either. But it's just like if we're cool and we're close, I kind of expect that in a way. Like yeah, I think I might have just right, but it's just actually wait, no, I think that might have been an incomplete thought in my head. But let me go back a sec. So, as far as the world is concerned, if they call me he him, I'm totally cool with it. If in my group of friends they call me he him, I'm so fine with it. But if they call me they them, it would make me happy because there's gonna be times where I'm not hella masculine or not hella like masculine presenting, so they and them would be more appropriate. So that I don't know. It's still something I have to discover because I just recently started doing it about a month or two ago, and I'm barely telling my friends about it. But still, it's one of those things where even though I don't really know where I'm going with all this, like as far as my gender goes, my sexuality goes, because it's a big journey as far as I know. I've also called it the road to El Dorado. Have you seen that Facebook post? Oh God, it's let's see. Anyway, that's getting a little more off topic. But it's just, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. But I'm happier than just like being a dude and being straight, because it turns out that just wasn't for me. But it's just like, how do you let go of that identity as well? Because like when it comes to our group of friends, it's easy. Like it's like, hey, what's up? It's your boy Ken. This is what I'm about, and just instant acceptance. But like when it comes to our families, especially when they're more traditional, or when it comes to people outside of our friend groups, they're not always going to accept you. They might even downright hate you or want to cause you harm. And it's like, why can't you just let me live my life? And it sucks. Like, I'm trying to live in a world where everyone around me, whether it be like my wonderful friend Roxas, or my other friends here at the house, or anyone that I meet during work, or other places that I go to, I always make sure to validate people. Like, especially if someone looks like very fluid or non-binary, I'm just like, hey, I think it might be one of my folks. What are your pronouns? And they usually get really happy about it. Like, their eyes light up and they're like, oh, I'm they, them. I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks for letting me know. And then I just go with it. Because it's not like, oh my God, how dare they have this other pronoun? Oh, I have to adjust to it. It's just like, no, it's just common decency as far as I know.
Right.
I
We're
mean,
blessed living in the Bay with that's more of an accepted thing.
true that. I mean, I'm not going to lie though. This is like, I guess, one of the only controversial things I'll say during this whole thing. It's when it comes to pronouns, like, I'm cool with he, she, and they. But then when it comes to the neo pronouns, that one I'm iffy about. Like when someone uses zerp or zim or some other like pronoun outside of the ones that I know, I'm like, I don't know what to think about them. Because like for he, him, and they, I understand like the usage for it. But when it comes to like zer, or well, the one with the X or one with the Z, I'm like, I don't know what type of point it's trying to make. It's like I'm not necessarily against it. I don't get it.
I don't know anything about it. Yeah, I can't really make a educated comment on it because I haven't seen anything to really kind of understand it from.
There
If
is one.
there's anybody out there to explain it, that would be helpful, but it's not something that I'm currently aware of.
Okay, because there is one other thing I saw from our non-binary friends of instead of saying Mister or Miss because we can't really use them, they like mix, like MX. I'm like, yeah, I'll roll with that. That sounds good.
I haven't heard about that.
I know. Yeah. One of our friends, Rihanna, they posted about it, so I was like, I like that. But yeah, it's just, huh. I'm actually not terribly sure how I'm gonna go about controversial topics. It's like I guess I'm hitting a snag right now because I try to be as validating as I can. I try to be as accepting as I can, but I know you and I eventually we're gonna hit a stop. Well, not necessarily a combo between you and I, but when it comes to people we interact with in general, we're eventually gonna like, this is too much, or I don't think that's right. And I guess I get like worried or fearful about it of like saying the wrong thing or being in the wrong, etc., etc. Like I guess to jump into that a little bit more, like the difference between a racial joke and a wait, no, a racial joke and a racist joke. Like that's another joke in itself. But have I talked with you about that before or no?
No.
So the way that I've understood it, it's a racial joke. It's like you can make fun about a stereotype that your friend or you can make fun about a stereotype about your friend's ethnicity, and you both get to laugh about it. Like one of my favorite ones for me, well, because being Mexican by ethnicity, if you could be like, Ken, your family like eats tacos and goes to church every Sunday, don't they? And I'll be like, you're probably right. But it would just be funny because that's like an acceptable like stereotype. Because stereotypes, as far as I know, they give us a window into someone else's culture. It's not saying you're all like that, but to say that most Mexicans are Catholic, it's a pretty accurate statement. Most Mexicans eat tacos, it's pretty accurate. Like, you can't really get salty about it. But a racist joke, it's like,
Malicious.
mm, it kind of can be. Actually, yeah, it can be very malicious. But like I'm thinking a racist joke would be a joke at the expense of your friend. Yeah, at your friend's expense. Like it doesn't even have to be like hella hateful or hella malicious. It could just be like an offhand comment. Like how's about this one? So in my car, I would like hang a little plane. You know those little styrofoam planes we used to get as kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to have like one of those there, but it was like a Japanese Zero. I had I had a family visiting from somewhere in the South. I can't remember what state. They were visiting their kid going to college here in San Francisco. They were going to the Giants game. And after I picked them up, I was going one of those big ass hills that SF has. And the dad, like sitting way in the front, I think he had like a very gruff voice to him. But I think he sounded like this. He's like, well, no, wait, hold on. We are going up the hill. My plane in the middle, like where you put your shades at, it was like going around and around in circles for some reason. Don't know why I did that. Physics. But the only thing that came out of that man's mouth was like, well, I hope your driving ain't like that, because then we'll have a kamikaze on our hands. And him and his whole family left, and I'm sitting there kind of uncomfortably, like, I don't know what to say. Like, do I call them out? Do I say we don't joke like that around here? Do I give a disapproving nod? I kind of just let it happen because it was out of my realm of understanding. And also because I'm not terribly confrontational in nature anyway. But it's like that. I would consider it as more of like a racist joke because it's like you're joking about Japanese folks. Yeah, because like as far as I know, a kamikaze was it was known for those Japanese Zero fighter planes back in like World War One or two. I forgot which one it was, but these soldiers, when they're about to like run out of gas or ammunition, they're going to be taken as prisoners. So they would literally just fly their planes into American planes or ships or whatever and just blow up. So to make that joke, it felt wrong. But it's like, how do you tell someone, hey, I don't like what you said because that sounds really messed up while you're also working? Because I was also worried about ratings at the time, which now I'm just like, well, okay, whatevs, ratings. But no, ratings mattered at the time. Anything you want to say about it, or? All right. Yeah, I think that's kind of one of the last things I want to say about all this. But I guess
Don't make racist jokes.
yeah, don't make racist jokes. That's a good one. And dang it, I don't know. You're kind of making me think about the current state of comedy as well. Like when it comes to comedies like Bill Burr or Dave Chappelle. Honestly, in the most recent Netflix specials, I found a lot of their stuff funny. More Dave Chappelle than Bill Burr. Like, this is one of the only times where Bill Burr's stuff kind of felt a little bit flat for me. Dave's, I'm like, nah, shit's still funny. Like, one of the things that really got me, though, is when he was talking about, I can make fun of any race in front of y'all. I can make fun of any profession. But as soon as I mention the ABC people, in other words, being people that fall under the rainbow flag, everyone's going to be up in arms about it. And sure enough, after he did that special, there's been a bunch of articles calling him out like, you shouldn't have done this or you shouldn't have done that. Like, it was weird for me because he was kind of inclusive in one of his jokes. He was like, I think he opened up by saying like, me and like 3 people from the rainbow crowd are with me. I think he said one person that's homosexual, one person that's I think, no, what was it? Damn it, I can't remember the whole thing. But the point is, one of the people that was like trans or non-binary or something along the lines, he said he referred to them and you, whatever pronoun you like or prefer. And people were mad about that. I'm like, wait, wasn't that actually kind of nice of him?
Right, opening up to whatever you like.
Yeah, it's just like, so, I don't know, it's one of those weird things too of you can never make fun of people in the rainbow flag. I'm like, no, I mean, inclusivity means you can make fun of anyone. Like, it might sound a little bit messed up, but these are never meant to be taken seriously. Like some jokes are taken way too far. Right. But it's like, at what point do you say, this is not okay? Or, that is funny. Why are we tripping about this? But like, how do you feel about comedy in general?
I haven't seen either of the specials, so I can't really make a statement on either of those things. But I do know, as far as like a lot of the comedy acts lately, I've noticed that they've been getting a lot of flack, and I think it kind of comes down to the fact that those people with their like hundreds of thousands of followers and stuff like that, you understand what you're getting into with their performances. You know what kind of jokes they make. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Right. Whether or not it's acceptable or not is a completely other conversation, but if you know you're not going to like that piece of media, don't watch it.
A Chinese food, yeah. I want to share with you one of the bits that I've been doing. Like, have I told you about that queer Texan bit that I've been doing for folks or no?
I think briefly.
Alright, so the main ones I have, it's like Old Man Jenkins, which is that old dude voice that I got. There's the queer Texan, and then there was the what was the last one? Damn it, I can't remember the third one that I do.
These characters that you're developing.
Oh yeah, these are just characters I use to like to mess with people, make them laugh and smile, and like maybe reconsider some things in their life. But like all just have good intentions. But like one of the characters that I adopted recently is, I call it the queer Texan. So when I talk with people about like accents or voices, I explain to them like all these accents have, they're not just like a noise that we hear. They have culture behind them. They have culture, they have personality, they have viewpoints, they have understandings. And once you hear someone's accent, you're like, oh, they might subscribe to the same thing that I do. We're cool. Or, oh, this person sounds really different. I don't know if I could trust them. Like, it's just an innate thing I've noticed about people. But like one of the ones that I know about, I think it's like Southern folks, or maybe specifically Texans. I don't know if I got the voice right. It's assumed, oh, you're from the South. There's a good chance you're like racist or sexist or homophobic, some other negative stereotype. Like, are they all like that? Of course not. But does the media like to blow up like this? You know, this terrible person over here that happens to be from Texas is super racist. They're probably all that way. I'm like, no, that's just the media showing you a certain thing to pull in like way more views, because they don't want to show you all the super accepting people in Texas instead, because that doesn't sell. But anyway, I have a problem with news in general. But anyway, so one of the ways I preface it now is like, y'all know how Texas or Texans or Southern folks get a bad rap for all this. I'm going to give you something different. They're like, all right, go for it. So I'm like, all right, here we go, guys. So let's see. So I'm just going to use you for example right now. But this is kind of the voice that I do for it. It's like, so I don't know about yourselves, but me, I identify as a queer individual. I mean, my folks, they did as well as they could to like raise me to be a man or whatever, or say that only liking women is right. But honestly, I don't really know what I am or who I'm into nowadays. So that's why I use queer. It's just all inclusive, you know. After yourself, well, you may be a man, you may be into women. I don't really know, to be honest. The only thing that matters to me is that you love whatever you want to love, and you are whatever you want to be, and I'll do the same, because we're valid here, you know? And like, it's so fun to see people's reactions, because they're like, wait, you're supposed to be against the rainbow people, or to say something super messed up, but you're being wholesome and inclusive? What? Like, it's so funny to see that look in people's eyes, but that's why I do it, because it's like,
Shattering the negative stereotypes.
yeah, it's just, I love that I've like been doing that over and over, or like using Old Man Jenkins or the other voices I collect. I guess, oh, that's another thing too. If I like someone's accent enough, I'll just like try to recreate it, because it's funny for me. But it's just, I play that bit to show people like through comedy more than anything. We have some odd belief systems sometimes. Like, why does this person have to be that? Is this person really going to say the thing? Like, kind of like when it comes to Christian folks overall, I know they get a really bad rap. Like, oh, they are super against us because I am homosexual. Or like, oh, these Christian folks seem nice, but oh God, why are they ramming their religion down my throat? And XYZ. As far as I know, that's just showing the more extreme sides of them,
Right.
which I've been told by many Christians time and time again, those aren't real Christians. Like, Christians accept people for who they are, love them for who they are. They don't use that BS phrase of like, I love the sinner, but I hate the sin. Like, no, that needs to die. That is just, it's weird when they also quote things out of the Bible, like a man should not lie with a man as he would with a woman. And it's like, why are you picking this verse, but you're not going to follow anything else in the Bible? You're kind of cherry picking by this point. But one of my favorite arguments when it comes to religious people too, it's, if religion did not exist, would homosexuality be bad? And they have this look of, I don't know, because they've been told their whole lives homosexuality is bad because God said so. But take away God from the conversation, it's like suddenly, no, homosexuality is just homosexuality all of a sudden.
We'll take a look at the Greeks and the Romans.
The Greeks and the Romans were all very open, and like the men would sleep with men and women, the women sleep with men and women. Like everybody just.
Did you know about that? Wait, hold on. So I don't know if someone was BSing with me about this, but apparently in what was it, ancient Rome and Greece, one of the reasons why we have olive oil today, or virgin olive oil, whatever the hell it was, it's because they used that as lube back then.
You might want to fact check.
Yeah, I probably should fact check it, but it's so funny to think about and talk about. But yeah, that's
Don't try this at home.
oh god, yeah. No, there is much better lube out there than for olive oil. Oh god, but yeah, I think I'm just gonna about wrap this up with my buddy, because as much as I love talking with him and whatnot, I gotta go out and lift in a little bit. Also, I gotta get some food in my belly. But it's just I'm happy that he's like the first person that I'm like doing this with, because like it could have been a completely random individual, could have been a relative, but instead I got a good friend to help me out, and they believe in me and stuff. How dare they? How dare they believe in my goals, dreams, and aspirations? I'm so mad at them.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate your compliments, and I like what you're trying to do here, and I enjoy talking with you, and I hope you have a good night, bud.
Alright, so there's only one last thing I'd like to ask you for, because, well, still making this up as I go. It's for folks who are interested in like hearing more like about your story, more about your life. Like if you have any social media, you could connect them to maybe like a DJ page. I would assume would be one of the things you really want them to look into, because your shit's pretty fire, dude. But it's just I want people to not have to go through what I've gone through too many times. This is a story, and goodbye. You'll never see that person again. But before I pass it on to you, there's one way I was actually able to subvert that. It's thanks to the Japanese people. It was the phrase ichigo ichie. I didn't pronounce that their way, but still. Have you heard that one before or no? So, and they gave me this one time because I was like telling them how it sucks how I have to say goodbye to amazing people because I'll never see them again. Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely hungry. Sorry, if I'm hiccuping a lot, that usually means like... Okay, anyhow, I'll just get into it. So I was relating to some Japanese folks that like, it sucks I have to say goodbye to amazing people, especially because I don't know if it's okay to ask them for their contact info or if we can make a connection, etc., etc. So one of the phrases they gave me was ichigo ichie. And if I'm right, it essentially translates to treasure this moment for what only ever happened once. As far as like where that originates from, I think it came from tea ceremonies, where like you would invite certain like people, you would have a tea ceremony, all of you would be enjoying that moment together, but when it's done, it's done. You can try to invite the same people again, go to the same place again, make the same type of like tea, but you know, you can't recreate that moment. It was already a finite thing in time, and this is a completely different one, even if everyone's the same, the tea's the same, etc. But what its main message is, you have to treasure the moments as they come. You know, really experience them for what they are. So when it comes to people now, although it sucks to say goodbye to them, because again, there's many awesome people out there, I get to go, you know what? I'm happy I got to meet them in their life. And I am treasuring this moment from start to finish.
I like that. That's a good phrase. I like that as an idea for this too. If I ever get a chance to be on this again, then maybe we should have tea over it. Tea time, baby. Let's do it. But yeah, as far as social media goes, I'm on Facebook. I don't use it a whole lot. My DJ page is Roxas Chained On, and same with my Twitter. I'm more active on Twitter than anything. I feel like it's a bit more of a personal setting rather than Facebook. It seems like less of a competition to me. So my Twitter is also Roxas Chained On, all one word. And I've been on a bit of a hiatus as far as performance goes. But I've been working on a few things, and I'm trying to educate myself a bit more in production. And I don't know when exactly I'm going to be coming back out into the spotlight again, but when it happens, I think it's going to be a lot of personal expression. I think I've been hitting a real stride with being able to express myself that way. So, nice to talk to you, bud, and I appreciate you.
Thanks, Ed. Alright, so that about wraps up our session for today. So until next time, I will see all of you ladies, gentlemen, and gentle them around. Stay awesome, keep being your truest selves, and keep trying to do your best to become the best version of yourself possible. Or, you know what, I'll just make it super cheesy in the end on purpose. It's these 4 lines I've been developing a lot, but it's, so for most people, I feel like this is a good guideline for their life. It's telling them, in this life, try to be the very best version of yourself possible and do all the things you actually want to do with your life. However, try to do it without like intentionally hurting people. Unless they consent to it, then go ahead. But that's about it for us, y'all. See you around.